Hello, I'm California. Welcome back. Today I'm going to flip my story into card method, and instead of pulling a card and trying to come up with a story that matches it, I'm going to tell a story and then we'll get a card and see what else the universe wants us to know today. So, my story is frustration with people and comments. And I was going to get the mail today, and something caught my eye, and it reminded me of a time a few years ago when I had to get a portion of my garage door replaced. And that was because I was in my car in the garage one day, and I had clicked the button, forgot that I had already clicked it, and I started backing out, and I damaged a part of the door, not the entire door. And it's one of these that it senses things and it went back up, but the damage had been done. So I had called a service in to repair the door, and thankfully they were able to replace only a part of it. So it was a pretty easy fix. Cost a little bit of money, but it didn't cost an entire door. So anyway, it came out pretty well. And as the guy was leaving, he just kind of made a wisecrack saying, "Oh, it'll happen again." And I kept my mouth shut because I thought, you know what? I don't owe him any explanations for why that may have been, the state of mind that I was in that day. I don't need to, be all rampaging female on him and say, "Hey, what did that mean?" Or, is that a crack about women running into things? Whatever. I let it go. And, I rose above. But the truth was, and it was none of his business at the time, but the truth was, I had 3 cats who were in various stages of dying at the time. One of them had cancer, one of them was diabetic, and I had literally just within days before this incident had to put to sleep another one who hadn't been overtly ill like the other 2. And of course, of the 3, he probably was my favorite because we'd been through the most together. But anyway, those kinds of things take up a lot of your brain cells and your heart, energy, and just all of that kind of stuff. And it adds up, and sometimes you make mistakes and you click the button twice and you break the garage door. And I don't think it was appropriate for that guy to make a wisecrack, "Oh, it'll happen again." I'm not going to pretend I understand his motivation. Maybe it was a joke in his world, whatever. But I don't, I was going through something, who knows what he was thinking, and I let that go. I'm going to say he was not a jerk. It was just an ill-timed remark. Contrast that with a couple of days ago, I was calling up a service that had been recommended to me, and I get this guy, and he just starts talking like a bullheaded something, and starts, wouldn't let me get a word in edgewise, gave me his spiel, his salesman's patter, if you will. And in the process of doing that, he answered a lot of questions that I neither asked nor intended to ask because I didn't need the information. But there seemed to be something about how he wanted to go into the call, that he felt that he needed to do all that instead of setting some establishing questions with me, which would have helped him understand at what angle I was coming to the call with, and with what prior experience I was coming to the call with, and therefore did not necessarily need his entire spiel that barely let him take a breath. And so by the time that he did say, okay, what did you need, I was completely turned off, and I just kind of gave the basic responses and ended the call as quickly as I could. And unfortunately, he had come recommended to me, and so I kind of let a day or two go by, and when that person checked in and said, oh, how did that go, I was very honest, and I told them the exact same thing, and they were very open to that feedback about this person that they had recommended, and they had somebody else that I could try in the meantime as a replacement recommendation. Anyway, so whereas the one guy a few years ago had made a wisecrack at a bad time in my life where I was in a situation where pretty much anything negative was just not going over that big. This guy the other day, I was in a good mood. I was ready to talk to somebody and kind of get business done, and he totally turned me off, and now I think he's a complete jerk. So I think this is about, controlling your feelings, having discernment, knowing when, feeling confident in decisions to walk away from something, whether you are walking away because it's the less emotional thing to do, and you just can't fault people for hurting you unknowingly, versus being completely within your power, not kind of in a compromised mental or heart shape, and then they're just literally, kind of throwing stuff around and kind of diminishing your own spirit in that moment. And so I would just say, this is, just know who you are. And don't let any of that stuff get you down. Don't spend a lot of energy and brain cells and turning over what could, the what could I have done differently, or I wonder why people have to be that way, and or doing the flip and saying, was it me? Was I the one who did it? Those kinds of emotional conversations in one's head, they're just, you just let them go. Life is too short. And so anyway, I just thought, if any of you are, have anything even remotely similar going on where, you have an opportunity to sort of turn the other cheek and not have an emotional response, but a more pragmatic or heart-guided response. Just I'm right there with you, and we all go through that. So okay, so that's my story for today, and let's go ahead and see what the universe wants us to know. Card, please. Oh, that came right out. 4 of Cups. So the 4 of Cups is usually where the person is sitting under the tree, and then there's like the universe hand coming out with this cup saying, look at it, take it, you want it. What I'm getting is that's kind of like when life gives you lemons, make lemonade. And, definitely look for that silver lining coming from the sky, but just be able to turn off the bad and look for that better prospect. And just a clarifier, since we're having fun. And this is the Queen of Pentacles in reverse, the kitty Queen of Pentacles. So the story I'm getting with the Queen of Pentacles, you know, the Queen of Pentacles is a queen who is very solid. She's nurturing. She's got coinage. She's, she will accept help. She'll actually, she'd rather be the director. She'd rather be, you know, kind of being the person who knows how to get things done and then can show people how to get things done, and you know, kind of oversee their work effort. But sometimes you're not, sometimes if that's your norm, sometimes you're not like that. Sometimes you are, the control that you have is this ability to turn a blind eye. That may be the only control you have in that moment, is your reaction. And so I think, again, this is when you find yourself in situations like that, sometimes it's easier to kind of look to yourself and say, okay, I can react like a bee. I can scream at the top of my lungs for all the hurt that anybody's ever done to me, and it's going to blast out in this unsuspecting way to this unsuspecting person. Or I can say, they don't know what I'm going through. I don't know what they're going through. I don't appreciate it, but it's not worth my time. So I'm going to look to the sky for the silver lining or the lemonade, and I'm going to just realize that this too shall pass, and that the only person in control is me. And sometimes I'm not 100% in control of the things that go on around me, but I can still control those things that affect me in a deep emotional way. All right, that's your card and a story for today. Thanks for joining me. Bye.